there will never, ever be another Larry Bird. So you take that to the bank.
That was 30 years ago, when the great Magic Johnson spoke facts on the greatness of Larry Joe Bird, who continues to show there will never be another player like him. While we all try to find the next big superstars, drawing reckless comparisons with some of the very best the game has seen during the 90s and early 2000s, everybody desperate to find the next Michael Jordan, only the great Kobe Bryant measured up to those comparisons, becoming the next face of the league after Jordan's retirement. During the NBA struggles, when television ratings plummeted, games on tape delayed, players known for fighting and drug use, the poor image of the National Basketball Association needed a savior, which led to a new revolution. Intense build-ups and rivalries, welcoming the era of Bird and Magic, brought the game to new heights, changed the direction of the league forever, allowing players today to enjoy their millions, putting in little to no effort. Given Larry's blue-collar mentality, the ultimate competitor, an elite-level trash talker, once-in-a-lifetime player, unlike anybody we ever seen or will see again. As the Hick from French Lick dominated with Boston throughout the 80s, many fascinated to find the next Larry Bird as soon as they were young ballers with the same skin color, becoming unfair targets to those comparisons. Many of those players dominated in college, high draft picks, supposed to be the next resemblance, but came nowhere close. Who were they? Starting with Danny Ferry, 6'10 power forward, played 4 seasons at Duke throughout the mid to late 80s, the Naismith Player of the Year, picked second in the 89 draft by the LA Clippers. Known as being an early stretch 4, shot the 3 at 39% in college. Being his size, muscular build, allowed easy post-ups, while being a mismatch from the outside, with Bird dominating the NBA for years, even considered even by some as the greatest to ever play. Many fans and media members hailed Ferry as the next Bird, taken second overall to only behind Purvis Ellison, refused to play for the Clippers, elected to go overseas his first professional season in Italy, before having his rights traded to the Cavaliers for a second rounder, and Ron Harper, an absolute travesty by the Cavs franchise. GM Wayne Embry recalled Boston waited a year for Larry Bird, San Antonio waited 2 for David Robinson. You will see Ferry be well worth it. For a guy who was surprised to be drafted to a team with many young forwards, Ferry never had the mindset to compete. Didn't want to prove to be a franchise type player. Cleveland paid him 10 years, worth as much as $38 million, 7 years, $25 million guaranteed, but the Cavs' title dreams thrown out the window. Seeing Ferry dragging his left leg in training camp, tendinitis pain, played defense with his arms and hands instead of his body and feet, averaged a lackluster 8.6 points as a 24-year-old rookie, 13 seasons, double-digit scoring twice, a career 7.3 rebound average, never grabbing more than 4.1 boards in any season. Ferry would have been better in today's era, with the outside shooting being a role player, even used as a rim protector with no defensive paint protection, being super slow. Duke, with their zone defenses, hit his lack of lateral movement, became one of the most disappointing number 2 picks, later worked in several NBA front offices including San Antonio, former GM of the Cavs, most recently Spurs consultant. Damon Bailey, the supposedly new and improved Great White Hope, born October 21st, 1971.
Every gym we went into sold out. News helicopters landed on the baseball field. It was like going to a rock concert.
He was Damon Bailey the minute he hit high school ball.
Becoming a household name before high school in Indiana, Hoosiers coach Bobby Knight watched him play as a 14-year-old 8th grader, Knight's team being covered throughout the season, saying he's better than any guard he has right now. Quoted in A Season on the Brink, written by John Feinstein.
People would not leave Damon alone.
It was almost Larry Bird-like.
Leading to surreal hype, drew national attention as the best 9th grader in the country by Sports Illustrated, becoming the next Indiana's Larry Bird, beloved by every fan of the state. Damon didn't really have another choice to go to college, had many injuries since high school, became a good college player, averaged 13 a game in 4 years, picked 44th in the 94 draft by his hometown Pacers, being on the injury list, cut, never played an NBA game, went to coaching, now focused on a warehouse distribution company as co-owner. Keith Van Horn, most remembered for his high ankle socks, the 6'10 sharpshooter, super hype entering the 97 draft, the consensus number 2 pick behind Tim Duncan. If there wasn't Timmy, Van Horn with his height would have been selected number 1 in many drafts. 4 years out of the University of Utah, 21.9 rebound average, 40 from 3, high offensive versatility. Also known for being notoriously clutch in college with the game winners. BYU head coach Roger Reed back in 1995 said, offensively, he has a Larry Bird type repertoire. Even an SIP's argued a lack of white stars in the NBA has caused a white inferiority complex. Van Horn on the come up felt the burden being compared to Bird, drafted by the Sixers, didn't want to play there, believing it didn't fit his style, having Allen Iverson and Jerry Stackhouse sent to New Jersey, balled out, averaged nearly 20 points, peaked his points per game year 2, 21.8. His numbers then plummeted with first option Stephon Marbury. Van Horn played a pivotal role for the 2002 Nets finals team, but traded from a tumble after, being a family man, uncomfortable relocating, traded to the Sixers, Knicks, Bucks, and Mavs 4 times in a 3-year span, last played in the 2006 finals as a reserve, happily retired at the age of 30, mostly being put in the Bird comparisons due to having the same skin color. Both can shoot, has size.
Keith's size and ability to score from anywhere on the court have drawn comparisons to a living legend who could also do it all, Larry Bird.
I think we're different players. Larry was obviously, the best. And I would not mind playing at all like him, but there are differences, and I think people will recognize that once I play in this NBA.
Strong offensive game, Van Horn was nothing like Bird, a good player in his own right, despite never making an all-star team, saw playing basketball as the beginning of a life journey that allowed him to pursue future endeavors, being at peace with his career on his own terms. Later developed and sold several companies, runs a non-profit youth basketball organization involved in real estate and technology. Wally Szczerbiak, most recently known for his remarks on Tyrese Halliburton, born in Madrid, Spain, but grew up in Long Island, New York, played college ball for University of Miami of Ohio, wasn't under anybody's radar first 2 seasons, 8 and 13 point average, but burst onto the scene as a junior, averaged over 24 points, picked up where he left off senior year, 24.2 a game, led the Red Hawks to the Sweet 16 as the 10th seed, becoming a household name, playing for a relatively unknown school. Here's Wally on the Dan Patrick Show on his NBA comparisons.
Hey, Wally, do you remember who you were compared to when you were coming out of college?
Larry Bird. That was kind of the comparison back when I was the 6th pick in the draft.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, but hard to live up to.
I know, didn't quite meet up to those expectations. Had a pretty good career, made an all-star team, bunch of playoff runs, but he was obviously tremendous. So, but that was pretty flattering and complimentary to to be compared in that light.
Even the New York Post before the '99 NCAA tournament title, next Bird looks like Szczerbiak, a silky smooth small forward, super quick release jumper, became the 6th pick of the draft, selected by the Timberwolves, a double-digit scorer 9 of his 10 seasons, even becoming an all-star in 2002, shot over 40% from deep for his career, would have easily been a multiple-time 20-plus point scorer today, given Flip Saunders' lack of commitment, drawing more plays to set up threes on his roster, having Anthony Peeler and Chauncey Billups, all of whom can shoot the long ball. Szczerbiak being nowhere close to Bird, but an excellent trailer on fast breaks, spotting up from deep and pump faking into 1 or 2 dribble jumpers, would easily be a $100 million guy today despite not being known for defense, didn't get along with KG well, battled through knee injuries, his last season with the 2009 Cavs, age 32, very good NBA career, covers the Knicks at MSG Network and college hoops for CBS Sports. Mike Dunleavy Jr. at 6'9", excellent range, won the national title at Duke, a great basketball mind, understood the game at a high level, with his dad being a known head coach for several NBA contenders, being versatile enough to post against smaller players, the 3rd pick of the 2002 draft, played for 6 different teams, known for his Warriors and Pacers days, averaged a career best 19.1 points 2008 season, solid 15-year career, wasn't as good being picked 3rd, but easily still go top 10 for his draft class, now of course Golden State's GM. Adam Morrison, the Gonzaga prodigy, was Mr. College Basketball, one of the greatest players to ever suit up in the NCAA. The former ball boy with the Bulldogs, diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in 8th grade, but his illness did not stop him from dominating collegiate hoops. By his junior year, the hype's surreal. Averaged an unstoppable 28 points, 50% shooting, drew comparisons to Bird.
Kid has been compared to Larry Bird.
The confidence, performing well under pressure, all the excitement and unflattering looks, hairy caterpillar mustache, long messy hair, dropping buckets left and right, his game absolutely filthy on all levels. By far the closest college player to resemble Bird.
I was a big Larry Bird fan, and I wanted to be like him in every aspect, so it kind of came and stuck.
He told me that he studied Larry Bird.
He obviously loved Larry Bird and looked up to Larry Bird. I mean, the elbow pocket was way up high.
A time-aging American white people waiting for another Bird to arrive. The shot-making, release, and mentality, despite not having Larry's vision and rebounding, the Zags being more like a mid-major at the time, just like Indiana State. The 06 college basketball season, arguably the most entertaining of the century. Most remember for going down crying after the UCLA loss, becoming one of the most anticipated players coming to the draft, picked dirt by the Bobcats, quickly became known as one of the biggest busts in NBA history. Played just 3 total seasons, healthy year 1, averaged almost a dozen points, second team all rookie, but needed the ball in his hands to be effective, struggled on defense before an ACL tear, lacked athleticism, lost all confidence. If Morrison didn't blow out his knee, would have likely turned to a good offensive role player, not all-star caliber though, but a 15 points a night guy, won 2 titles with Kobe's Lakers cheering on the sidelines. Aside from the championships, his performance and NBA career couldn't have gone any worse. Now lives in Spokane, Washington, color commentator for Gonzaga Hoops, hosts the Perimeter podcast. Doug McDermott, during his sensational time in Creighton, dismissed the Bird comparisons quickly, dominated in a mid-major. The NCAA scoring machine was hesitant in doing the photo shoot, a recreation of Bird's time at Indiana State. Didn't want to disrespect the legend, just glad to be the one chosen to do it. Listed 6'8", 225, the Wooden Award winner, averaged 27 and 7 senior year, insane efficiency, finished 5th all-time in Division I scoring list, passing Bird, not the most athletic. Had most of the plays drawn up for him, drafted 8 in the 2014 draft, 10 years later, 6 different teams, good outside shooter, role player, free agent after this season, stuck on San Antonio. George Karl even suggests Kevin Love in 2012 after his 50 piece comparing him to Bird. Those remarks quickly dismissed. Some also tried to get the Tom Glugliata and Bird mentions. Coming into the 92 draft, a 6'10" power forward, played nothing like him. While all-time great Dirk Nowitzki, one of the best players of his era, only got the Bird comparisons when he started dominating the NBA, 7 feet with unstoppable fadeaway, but doesn't have Bird's playmaking in defense. Offensively today, international Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic have some resemblance of Bird with their complete all-around offensive game. Doncic though Super Bowl dominant, while Bird excels playing off-ball. All these years later, Larry Legend will forever remain one of the all-time greats, one of the very few to transcend the game. Right now, high school phenom Cooper Flagg, getting those early superstar comparisons, could become the next great American white superstar, something that's been lacking from the NBA for years.